What you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Hey, I'm Amy Chang. I'm a nationally board certified health and wellness coach, and this is Healthy AF. In this podcast, I'll be bringing you all things health, from the newest health strategies to how to tackle those personal roadblocks that just will not let you move forward. So buckle in. We're going to be inspired and instructed, and dadgum, we're going to have a little fun on Healthy AF. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Healthy AF. Last episode, we talked about solitude and how that can be part of your summer self-care plan. And this past week, I got to listen to my own podcast about solitude with a lot of gratitude because I needed some solitude. I thought I'd share with you a little bit about what has happened since the last time you had me in your ears. If you're a consistent listener, and I know you guys are out there, so thank you for letting me know you listen. It really encourages me to continue to create content. Hopefully, my stories about my life, my healing, my coaching clients, living into our best lives have you not just entertained, because that's cool, but really not the point, but have you look for your own best self. And have you relate to what real life really looks like when you're just a lady trying to make it in the world and make a difference. So here goes. Since I dropped the Solitary Time podcast, I shared on that podcast that I had been with my mom for about, pushing 10 days. And we were going to the beach for a family vacation with her sister, my cousin, his wife, his 2 kids, his best friend, his 3 kids. And thankfully we were in a duplex. So mom and I were on the quiet side and the rest of the fam was on the kid side. We arrived to the beach. It was a really easy drive, very pleasant, no rushing. We took my dog with me. She's an old girl, so she's pretty easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Did the normal things you do when you get to the beach from the family beach trip, hit the Publix, picked up the ice cream, grabbed a little sand bucket for my cousin's kid, and got to the house and started unloading. I was really mad at my mom because that lady just doesn't stop, and it makes me crazy. So we're both trucking boxes and bins and bags and stepping over the dog while we're unloading the Suburban from underneath the house to up the steps and into the house. And I tried in different ways of being direct and saying Mama, quit doing that. Let me do that. And also in hey, why don't we do this fire drill way where I'll do water drill, I guess you call it, where I'll take the bag up the steps. You take the bag from the steps into the house. No, she just kept on coming down. And I took that last load up. She had come down again and gotten a couple more bags and took that last load up, walked in the kitchen, didn't see her, was kind of rolling my eyes, wondering what she was up to. Put my bag down and went over to the steps, and she was there on the floor unconscious. She had fallen down those last 5 steps that were wooden steps onto a hard floor. I've never in my life been so grateful that I'm a nurse. Never in my life been so grateful that I'm a nurse. And man, I have taken care of some people. And she had a pulse. She was breathing. I called 911 right away. And by the time they got there, she was beginning to come around. It was scary. It was really scary. So that first day, long story short, we ended up at the Camp Lejeune Naval Hospital. They did a great job in their emergency department, taking care of us, running all the tests. My family, and I've talked about this before, is well versed in medical jargon and issues and normalcies. I think that sometimes other people who don't have experience being in healthcare, it's more foreign to them. So I did all the things. I called my girls and asked my oldest girl to get in touch with her brother. I also asked her to go ahead and bring me the healthcare power of attorney, and the living will. Because frankly, we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know if mom had had a brain bleed and fallen. We didn't know if she had fallen all the way down the stairs. We didn't know if she had fallen and was now bleeding in her head. We didn't know if she had internal bleeding. We knew nothing. What we knew was that mom was unconscious, that she had a pulse and was breathing, and we sent her in an ambulance to the hospital that was 45 minutes away. That is what we knew. So there were lots of unknowns there. And I'm so glad for my nursing experience, and that my family is steeped in, okay, this is what we do. We get the paperwork. We show up at the hospital. We don't freak out. We're running all the tests. We don't know anything. So there's no decisions to be made right now. In addition, I should say that my Aunt Sandy, who was in the other side of the duplex, for one thing, they rolled up while EMS was there. So that was great that they made it down from Virginia and just had perfect timing. And she's a nurse. So you got a nurse from, gosh, I don't know when she first became a nurse, 60 some, maybe. I'm a nurse from 95, and my oldest daughter is a trained CNA, and she's worked in the hospitals too. Actually, she's worked on a neuro floor. So we were covered. Mom got out of the emergency department. Get this. No injury. She's 82, right? Fell down steps, unconscious. No injuries other than a dislocated pinky finger and a concussion. So we got really lucky, and she was really groggy. Okay. And spoiler alert right now, so that you're not, wringing your hands. She's doing great. She's really doing great. And it changed our beach week. We did get to stay at the beach, and we all had to come together. And I needed some solitary time, which is why I'm really glad that I did that podcast last week. So let me tell you how that played out. We come home from the hospital, and we're all kind of like, what do we do with her? It was very apparent that none of us were ready to let her be independent, and she wasn't ready to be independent on her own. She was still very wobbly walking, a lot of pain, and still very concussed. I mean, asking the questions over and over again and doing all the things that concussed people do. So from then on, I slept with my mom in her bed, and then got up with my mom, and then spent the day, caring for mom, making phone calls, doing all the things. My family was around me, and they were fantastic. And I am incredibly grateful for their skills and their support. And by Wednesday, I was really ready for solitary time. So we talked the last time I was here about 4 tips. We talked about making a list of the things you do in solitude. We talked about having a conversation with your people about like, hey, I'm going to need some solitary time. We talked about, I think it was taking it without the guilt, being really committed to what you're committed to, and then coming back from that solitary time, refocused on who you wanted to be and how you wanted to show up. So for me, clearly, solitary time was so important. And I listened to that podcast when it dropped on Monday. I typically try to listen to my podcast just to make sure that I make sense. And I'm so glad I listened to it. And what stuck with me the most were a few things that I wanted to point out today. Because some of us have never really done the self-care of solitary time. And it feels weird, and it might feel like we should be guilty about it, or it's selfish, or, there's a lot of sort of gremlin talk about like, hey, I need my time by myself. But there's a few things that happened. And one of the best things that happened is because this is not the first time that I've become aware, oh, wow, I need some time by myself. This pattern of speaking up for like, oh, this is kind of what I need. I need some time alone. It's been maybe a 5-year pattern. So my people around me now know this is what happens when mom doesn't get her solitary time. She usually loses her shit. In the past, if I didn't have my self-care solitary time, I'd get irritated and irritable, and then I blame everybody else for making me irritable. I would just be like, well, you're annoying. I don't like what you're doing, and I'm pissed. So it must be y'all's fault. So I've lived that way. I don't need to live that way again. Right. So now I know, I need some solitary time to recharge my battery. But the best thing is that I've fessed this up to my children and my family so that they know I need solitary time, and they know what it looks like when I don't get solitary time. And because we've had these conversations, my daughter, actually, my oldest daughter, Maggie, who was really helping me with mom after I'd get her up and get, the first batch of medications in and get her, in a chair with all the pillows. She's bruised from scalp to hip bone on her right side, and get her set. Maggie would take her sleep and then come down and help and kind of shoo me off. By Wednesday, she was saying, Mom, what can I do to give you solitary time? Because I know I'm leaving on Thursday. So this is your last day with me here. And because she knew that already, the conversation was already in play. It wasn't a new, like, what is mom saying? Grandma's over here, needing assistance. And mom all of a sudden is like, dude, I need my time by myself. What? We didn't have that conversation because 5 years ago, we started having little conversations. And they started with me saying to my loved ones, hey, I'm sorry that I have been so rotten and blaming toward you. Actually, I was just frustrated and annoyed, and I haven't taken care of myself and my needs. You're not annoying. You're not bad or good. I'm annoyed, and I haven't been responsible for what I need. And what I need is a little bit of time by myself. Once those conversations started happening, then my family could go like, wow, I know one of mom's needs when she's in stress, particularly, is solitary time. Can I support that? So that conversation actually came to me on Wednesday. What a beautiful, beautiful demonstration of growth in my relationship with my oldest daughter. So grateful for that. And a demonstration of growth for me is that I actually took it. I didn't do the soft shoe dance of like, no, I can do it. I can stay here. You're fine. And I can tell you, I wanted to. I did not want to take my solitary time. I wanted to stay Velcroed up to my mama. I wanted to be in control. I wanted to make sure she was okay. So it's really fabulous for me that I've grown enough to say, wait, if I really do want to make sure that mom's okay, and if I really do want to be present and joyful with her, I probably need some solitary time. Because that thing just doesn't happen without the other. You can't run a battery into the ground and then not expect that it's just not going to work anymore. Got to recharge it. So there were some things that I saw. One was I've had the conversations in the past with my children and my loved ones so that I've expressed what I need, and I've expressed how when I don't take responsibility for what I need, I'm not who I want to be. And usually they get the brunt. And because of those conversations, my kids know, like, hey, how can I support you in there? And I actually took the time without feeling guilty. So let me tell you what happened when I took that time. I went down to the beach, and it was the sweetest conversation. I'm so glad I did this podcast. And the second hint from, or the second thing on the list from the last podcast was tell your loved ones what you need and why you're doing it. So I have my sweet little niece. I call her my niece. She's my, I think, first cousin, first removed. We had that whole conversation on the beach. Like, now, who are my cousin's children to me? Anyway, I took little Hope, who turned 5 while we were at the beach, and it's just a ray of light, that one. And she would come over to our side of the duplex, and she'd say, I'm going to the neighbor's house. She'd tell my aunt she was going to the neighbor's house. She'd come over to our side of the duplex, and she'd open that sliding glass door and she'd say, I'm going down to the beach. Are you coming? So sweet. And so on Wednesday morning, when she sunscreened up, opens that door, she had on a cute little bathing suit. I'm going to the beach. Are you coming? I said, Hope, I am coming down to the beach, and I need some time to just be by myself. But I can't wait to play with you after I have a little time by myself. And she looked at me like, what? And I said, Hope, sometimes when your friend is around, do you sometimes just need to go into your room and get quiet, maybe read a book by yourself? It's not that you don't love your friend. It's just that you need a little time. And she was like, yeah, okay. So I went down to the beach, and I literally put my chair about 10, 15 feet away from my Aunt Sandy, my cousin Douglas's wife, Kathy, their kids, Hope and Luke. And you know what happened? Because I had had those conversations, nobody came over and talked to me. It was fabulous. And then I got up out of my chair and I started walking. And you know how beach walks can be. You don't know you need a beach walk until you're on it. And then you're so far away, you're like, wow, I must have really needed a beach walk. Took a nice beach walk, came back, sat down, had a little snack, something to drink, enjoyed my chair time. And then I remembered that last part that we put on the list in the past podcast. When your solitary time ends, how do you want to show up? How do you want to be present? How do you want to really be with your people? Because that's the whole point of taking solitary time. And after I sat in that chair for, I don't know, an hour, I was ready. And I dragged my chair over to my family, and I thanked them for giving me my time. And then we looked at all the seashells, and we did all the digging and all the sitting and looking and reapplying the sunscreen and passing out sandwiches that you do on your family beach trip. It was a good time. And I was able to enjoy my mom, like really enjoy my mom when I came back in. Have you thought about the difference between giving your mom a bath because you have to, and it's your job as her daughter when she's under the weather, and enjoying being with your mom and being able to, and having the skills to care for her when she needs the care? That's a difference that I found my solitary time really allowed me to do. So thank you again for being with me on this journey. I hope you're on your own journey and making headway. I appreciate putting my words out there, like, hey, this is the way I think my best self looks. And then having to hold my feet in that fire, having to practice it and getting all the benefits of practicing new things. So there it is, how solitary time worked in real life on a really kind of crazy week. I appreciate all your thoughts and prayers for my mom and her healing. And next episode, we're going to talk about flexibility as a part of your self-care summer routine. I'll see you then. And between now and then, give yourself lots of grace and just take care of your loved ones and hold the handrail on the steps. See ya. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Healthy AF podcast. I hope that it has helped you create a new possibility for your health and sets you into action to go get it. If you want more information or if you want to connect with me, visit my website at myhealthylife.coach. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that each new Healthy AF episode will be sent directly to you. Let's take you from where you are to where you want to go.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.